Okay, share once again is the Il Nishmas of Imoli, Yaakov Yehuda, Sanab Shlomi Yosef, Kapas B'Shkavai. We are holding Tezayin Amud Beis on top. So, in last week's share, we finished off with this whole idea about confusing the Satan. All right, and we had the mother said that why do we blow the shofar? The key is the umore, and the key is the miyusha. So why do we start blowing the shofar right after Tz.א-טז.ב, when the congregation can technically sit? They're allowed to sit. The minhag is that they stand, but they could sit during those tkiyas. And we blow again during the Shemanes, during the Midah.
Even though those are more chashuv, really.
So that's what we're going to discuss today. Which one is the more chashuv one? One of them is coming. So this, so there's two tkiyas. So we have to blow both of them. And this is, okay. 1 second. So you, one of them, we're doubling them up because one of them is going to confuse the Satan. Now the question is, which one is the one that's the main thing midelaisa, and which one is the one that's confusing the Satan? So if we start with the meforshim and the Gemarrah, the Rashi starts like this. Rashi is the one, the number one meforsh. Rashi says that how does it work that the Satan is going to be confused? Rashi says the top Rashi and Tezayin Amud Beis Yastin, the Satan is not going to be able to come do his prosecution. Why? Because Yishmael mechavan mitzvahs mistaten vav Tezayin Amud Beis. As soon as the Satan sees the Yidden are not only blowing once, but they're blowing a second time, he says, the Yidden love the mitzvah so much, how can I prosecute them? Okay, so basically it almost sounds like that the ilul of a Satan, the confusion of the Satan starts or happens at the second blowing during the Midah, during the Chazal Sashatza, during the Midah. Taisva says, almost a similar thing. Taisva says, so Rashi says it's because of the Yidden. Taisva says it's because of the Yitzhak. As I said, we went through last week, Kadav is a Satan. Taisva says that the Satan knows that one day there'll be a shofar gadol. Mashiach is going to come, there's going to be a shofar gadol, a big shofar, sound of the shofar. And he knows when that happens is Bila Amovas and Netzach, then the Satan, which is the Malchamovas, which has different names, he will be annihilated, he will be swallowed up, Bila Amovas, it will be swallowed, he won't exist anymore. So he hears them blowing shofar once. So you get, is this the Koil shofar of Mashiach? Okay, maybe not. He's worried, but he's not so worried. When he hears them blowing a second time, so this is from the Yerushalmi, Bohil, he's very tzumisht, he's very and he doesn't have time to put together a prosecution, a case of prosecution. So now, which one? So according to Tosfos, also sounds like the second one is the one that confuses him, but the meforshim don't necessarily agree with that. The meforshim, I didn't bring it down here. The meforshim don't necessarily agree with this thing, and there's many meforshim. 1 second. Oh, that's the next. Okay. Back and forth discussions. Which one is the main? Which one is the confusion? Which one is the main? Which one is the confusion? And many meforshim will tell you that, and including the Baal HaMoel is on the top of them, is basically telling you that when you make the brachas, lishmoya kol shofar and shechianu right after Tz.א-טז.ב, and then he blows the third koilas, that's not the main thing. The main thing is actually in Amidah, in the Musaf.
Really?
Yeah, in Musaf.
Then why don't you say the bracha then?
So why do we say the bracha then? So the Baal HaMoed says the whole idea that we're making a bracha is midrabanan. It's because they had to do this whole thing of a Satan, so therefore added a bracha. But the main thing is you actually don't need to make a bracha. The brachas in Musaf that he say of Shofar, Malchus, the Cholons and Shofars, these are the brachas of Shofar. Lishmoya kol shofar and shechianu, that came later. That's the Baal HaMoed's, that's what he says. And it's interesting words, but that's what the Baal HaMoed says. I didn't print it out. Don't know why, but I have it printed from a different article. I don't know if I have it here or not. So there's basically that's what the Baal HaMoed says. I don't have it here. I don't know. Balma says that the Shmoy called Shofar is and Shechion, these are not the main thing. These brachas came afterwards, and the main thing is that Malchus is Shofar, and he blows Shofar. That's the main thing. So if that's the case, Minatayla, the blowing Shofar is Musaf. The Iluv Satan is before, and he explains, and that's explanation that's throughout the meforshim also, that we want the Satan to be confused, not the middle Musaf. We want the Satan to be confused before Musaf. Because we said last week also that Musaf is a time of judgment. That's when the judgment happens. Shachas is what's called Musaf. So basically, we want the Satan to be confused during Musaf. So in order to confuse him during Musaf, we have to confuse him before Musaf. So the first kiyas, which are not Minatayla, that's for confusion of the Satan. The kiyas through Musaf, those are the main kiyas. Now, we as Alter Rebbe's Chassidim, so we look at Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch. Alter Rebbe is missing a couple simonim in the Shulchan Aruch, but Alter Rebbe says here. So here in the paper printed out, Tavkuf Tzadik Beis Siman in Siman Tavkuf Tzadik Beis Siv Zayin. So Alter Rebbe writes clearly. So then again, the meforshim, the Rishonim, the poskim argue back and forth. Which one is the main? Which kiyas are the main minaraisa and which kiyas are midarabon? And it's back and forth. The Ram and all the different meforshim. Alter Rebbe says like this. This is the middle of Siman Zayin. I didn't print the whole thing up before and after. Basically, it says this. V'tiknu chachamim lishmoya oisam al seda birchas malchus zechonos v'shoivos. The chachamim told us that we have to listen during the Musaf. And why? In order to confuse the Satan. Says the Alter Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, he basically makes a compromise between all the shittas. Somehow, that we want to confuse the Satan before davening, we put tkiyas basically before Musaf and during Musaf. Therefore, the Yidden have a minhag that to divide the tkiyas of Minatayla and the tkiyas that the Chacham told us to blow in order to confuse the Satan 2 different times. V'toikin miyushav, I bolded it. Kedilakayim mitzvah Minatayla. So the first ones are Minatayla, and you don't have to have an explanation like the Baal Amar gives an explanation that the bracha was made up later on. The goyim in the mitzvah of Saiv mit tkiyas me'umad shal said the brachas k'mo shtik Chachamim, and he finished the tkiyas the me'umad in the Amida and the Chazaras Hashatz of Musaf. That's the kind of a chum to the Avos of Satan. Now, the Alter Rebbe later on says, so I have basically, if the Satan is confused by Musaf, we have in Minhag Chabad, open up the Siddur, which is basically almost non-existent in any other place. Only mamish a few communities do that we blow kiyas afterwards.
Yeah. After
Olenu, we blow kiyas again. And why? What's the reason? The Satan. But the Satan was already confused. So what's now? What's the yet? So Stiman Tavkuf Tzadik as well. This is not with the Gemarrah, but it's also about Ilu Satan. Yishmael is noagim shlachat tefillah Morim trio gdola. I forgot which. I think Siv Beis or Siv Ches. That after davening they blow one big tkiyah. The trio gdola blatt tkiyah, and this one is again la'avos Satan. Now, in the meforshim, that obviously Alter Rebbe is probably based on these meforshim, they basically brought different minhagim, and there was a place somewhere where the sound of shofar afterwards, after davening, was so loud they probably couldn't hear each other. That all the shuls, at the same time finished davening, and they blew the shofar, this last tkiyah, Truah Gdoila, they blew it so loud. The last one, loud as other. What does it say? We were still worried that the Satan might, pipe up and say something after davening. That all of a sudden we finish davening and we're going to hit the pot. We're going to hit the food. So what happened to this? Is supposed to be a heilige tag. It almost shows that we're not worried about the Yom Adin. So therefore, we blow the shofar. The Alter Rebbe goes on and says, because again, the shloishim koilas because some of the people missed out, so this will be taking people that didn't hear the tkiyas properly, and you'll be listening to those tkiyas. Start the entire mea koilas, and the Alter Rebbe explained they add another. They finish because there is an opinion, and many of the poskim say that during the Amida, so the quiet part of Musaf that we daven privately, there's no Tkiyah Shofar. We blow, and we not only blow, but we blow the full thing. Tkiyah Shvam Tuah, the whole thing, Tashat Tarat Tashat, yeah. And in some communities they only blow one of them, and they over the course of the blachas they complete one set. But some poskim say we don't blow anything because everyone is holding a different place. Everyone different, so we don't blow at all. Actually, Allah it says that if a yachid davens, if a guy davens by himself at home or in a hospital, whatever he's by himself during the Amidah, he shouldn't blow. He should not blow. Yeah. To confuse himself with something, shouldn't blow it. So there's a whole simon that discusses with someone that does himself. Any case, so basically, Ilva Satan happens by Musaf. Ilva Satan happens after Musaf. There's a third time there's Ilva Satan.
Does the body almost do all three?
We have a bigger Satan.
What? I didn't want to say. I mean, you have to state the obvious. I just, but is there other Chassadim do?
Yes, some people are more. Some people I don't know exactly. If you look at the Nitra Gavil, it's going to tell you every Chassidus that possibly existed under the sun that does different minhagim. I don't know, but I know that the Olam, the general world, does not do the Yuva Satan after davening. Only Musaf, and the other time they do it is when Erev Rosh Hashana. So there's a whole halacha. This is what. Yeah, basically the fact that they don't blow is this is what's it called. The fact that they don't blow. This is brought down. Alter Rebbe doesn't have that doesn't have this in Shulchan Aruch, but in the back of Dalet there's a surface of Rebbe Nechemia, the Divrei Nechemia. He was a Lavan in the city of Dubrovna. He was a big chassid of Tzemach Tzedek, but he was a humble person, and he was a big Talmud Chacham. The Tzemach Tzedek was known as one of the Rebbeim that was also a massive Pesach, and the Tzemach Tzedek sent questions to him. It was a massive Talmud Chacham. The Hagdama on his Sefer Nechemia, I only glanced briefly. He writes poetic stuff about the Alter Rebbe. Divrei Nechemia of Dubrovna. He was a chassid of the Tzemach Tzedek. So in the surface he brings down, because this Alter Rebbe is missing those halachas. And he brings down, it's obviously brought down in the sources of this, which is in the Tul and the Shulchan Aruch, but he brings down Tov Kuf Pei. 1 second, where is this? It's missing over here. Oh, here, right here. Tov Kuf Shlam l'Simon Tov Kuf Pei Aleph. Basically, a Shlam l'Mashachot b'Shulchan Aruch. What's missing in the Shulchan Aruch because we're missing it. The Alter Rebbe doesn't have Tov Kuf Pei Aleph, and that's and basically that's why we blow shofar. And he mentions that there's 3 reasons why. There's the reason why we don't blow Rosh Hashana. Rosh Hashana itself, lahafsik ben tkiyas the minhagel tkiyas the naisat. There's a minhag, and Rosh Hashana is minhag, so to make a hefsek. And the second one, the reason is because the Av is a Satan that he would think that the Rosh Hashana went by already. So we have 3 times that we are out of a Satan. Side note. To finish off with a very shmakavad, I was researching this whole minhag, what's it called? So I looked at the time minhagim, just to finish off, and then we're going to continue. So in the time minhagim, it brings a very interesting thing from the Rabbi Akiva Egel. He says, Kadav is a Satan. The B'Shem Agon Rabbi Akiva Egel. He brings like this. Just the fact that the Yidden are mechav the mitzvahs, why would the Satan not be? Okay, so the Yidden love mitzvahs. What causes their love to mitzvahs to tell the Satan, I don't want to do a prosecution? So he explains like this: when Yidden do anything mitzad chavivus, mitzad love, mitzad. So when you have an aveda and then you make tshuva me'yira out of fear, what happens to the aveda? It turns into a shoygik. So instead of being amazed at the Aveda, it turns into a shaykh, mistake. I made a mistake, but it's still an Aveda. It's a shaykh. When you do tshuva me'ahava, what happens to the Aveda? Turns to a mitzvah. So the Satan sees the Yidden, mechavim mitzvahs, they're doing this tshuva, Rosh Hashana me'ahava. So now, if he comes and he starts prosecuting every Aveda he's going to bring up, what's going to happen to the Aveda? It's going to turn into a mitzvah. So he said, oh, no, they want to add any mitzvahs to the Yidden. Basically, yeah. Any Aved he's going to bring up, he's going to bring another schuz, another mitzvah, because every what's it called? Couldn't find it. Print the copy. Anyway, so that's the Gemarrah of Iu. It's been out of the Satan. Now we're going to go back and think about Rebbi Yitzchak. So this is 7 lines from the top. Rebbi Yitzchak said another halacha. This is we're going to see another couple statements of Rebbi Yitzchak. Ein donen es Adam el lefi ma'asav shelo yisrael. We judge a person according to where he is standing now. What is his standing now? What is his status now? Shenema, it says in Pasuk, Kisham elikim elkanana b'asher Hashem. Yeah, so Hagar Sarah put a what's it called, Ein Hada into Yishmael. She put a bad eye, an evil eye into Yishmael. Yishmael got sick, and Sarah told Avraham you have to send them away. They went away. He was basically very thirsty, because all sick people are very thirsty. He was very thirsty, and he was about to die because there was no water. He finished the water in the jug that he was having, and he was thirsty. So what happened there? So says Rashi, famous Rashi. Yeah. So the Rashi is with the narrow lights. In Medrash Shemesh Shabbat it says like this: Mi she'asidin bonov lahomis as bonecha batzoma. You have your apple of the eye, your children, your b'choy, the Yidden. His children, Yishmael's children, will eventually kill Yidden with thirst. So such a person, you're going to give him water. Shana, how do we know that this is what the Yishmael's offspring did to us Yidden? It says Neshayo Masa ba'alef likras tzama hissi of mayim. What happened there? When the Yidden went into Golus, the Yishmaelim came and greeted them, and the Yidden, the Gemarrah says, the Gemarrah also, it says the Yidden told the Yishmaelim, "You are our cousins, so give us food, give us drink." So I said, "No problem, I'll give you food." What did he give them? Meluchim, salty type of food. So now the Yidden are very thirsty. So what happened? They brought also noides nefuchim. What were those? Not jugs, but the sacks, basically water bags, leather, might have been of leather, and instead of filling with leather, they filled it with air, and basically they opened it up to drink because they were so thirsty because of the salty items, and the air went inside, and air in the stomach, air, today medical terminology, air embolism, and so something happened, and many Yidden died. So the Malachim come to the Eibishter and says, Yishmael is right now being judged. Is he going to die or is he going to live? Why? Because he's thirsty. Yeah, so he's going to kill Yidden with thirst. Why do you give him water? So the Eibishter turned to them and said, right now, did he do that? Did he kill Yidden with thirst? No. Tzaddik hu elosha. Is that tzaddik hu elosha? But hold on a second. Yishmael was elosha in his own right, without the... So we'll see that in a moment. Amalai tzaddik. For this end, he's a tzaddik. Amalai b'asher Hashem. I only judge a person according to where he is right now. This is right now is a tzaddik. Okay. So he is being judged as a tzaddik and he doesn't die. So basically the Eibishter doesn't judge or kill someone according to what could be in the future, only what could happen now. There's a halacha of ben soida moira. There's a kid that eats a lot of meat, that drinks a lot of wine. We don't kill him because of now. We kill him because it says that eventually he's going to stand on the he's going to stand on the fork of the road, and he's going to last him. He's going to start killing, robbing.
It said it never happened though.
What?
It says it never happened.
Correct, but
so many things have to happen in order for him to.
Correct.
It's once in 70.
Right, it's very, very difficult because the sound of the mother and the father have to sound alike. A lot of. And it's only a very small period of age. The age also has to be mamish a small period. It's like I think 12 and a half to 13 or something. The age is a very 12 to and a half or something. Yeah. So
many parents brought their kids, but
they didn't succeed.
They were rejected. Okay. So, but potentially, if it could happen, the halacha was you kill him for the future sins. So why couldn't Yishmael be judged as a B'tzayim? So says the Masha. So we printed out here. Says the Masha. Why is the B'tzayim considered? He's judged for the future. So number one, the Masha says Ein Tilutz beim, you have to check out the Tilutz in the aim. Weil Leo Mizrachi. Zarishn. V'oide Shloima, Rasha brings his own answer, the Ben Soida Nidon al Shem Soifoi, Shal Atzmoi. The difference between Masoida and Yishmael is that Yishmael himself did not kill Yidden. His offspring killed Yidden. But Soida Moila, he himself is going to kill people, he's going to be harassing people. So that's it. Moshe Gebe Yishmael, Shal Shem Soifoi, Shal Bonov. Can't judge him. So what's the answer in the aim? And the answer I'm sure is also in questionable in certain sense. Let's see. So I found the aim. After I printed this, I found a more modern copy. Well, this is
Where's this from?
this is from Hebrew books. The aim is from Hebrew books. A printout, a copy, screenshot. I later on found it in actual print book. Okay, this is what it is. The judge according to now says the aim. Rabbi Yoel Mizrachi. Abel ben Tzara Moeda da Amrina Basanhedrin Shoner Al Shem Soifoi. And ben Tzara Moeda that we said in Sanhedrin is killed according to the future. Hainu mipnei shekvar hischil bedolachim amavim lemaisim loim, because he already started his ways. The fact that he's eating so much meat and drinking so much wine is already a bad thing. Okay, that's one answer. Therefore, the ben Tzara Moeda has a different what's it called? So I was thinking basically, if it would have applied Ben Tzara to Yishmael, then TSA wouldn't be needed. The whole reason we need TSA is because terrorism, right? If Yishmael would have been killed, it wouldn't have any offspring, it wouldn't be a terrorism. So you don't need TSA. So Trump needed to tell the Abishai to apply the rule of Ben Tzara. Okay, that's a very...
that was your comment.
That was to get the crowds on it.
Yeah. So you got one extra.
But they thought TSA was going to come and be checking.
The ice, yeah.
The illegal immigrants didn't want to come for this.
So Trump can fix, the Abishai could have fixed everything. Would have had Iran, would have had Hezbollah, Hamas.
Mind you making the wedding in Chabad headquarters?
7-7.
Oh.
The office tells me Chabad, no? So why don't you make it in 770?
Yeah. Says Tucker. Okay, so then the aim says another thing. Umore tzaddik. The Rebbi asked the Malachim. Basically, the told the Malachim he's a tzaddik. Is he a tzaddik or not? Umore tzaddik. The Malachim told him the Yishmael is not tzaddik. Pirush. Not that he was actually a tzaddik. Yishmael wasn't a tzaddik. From this aveda of thirst, he never killed anyone with thirst. Aval mishara avelos Rosh Gemarrah. The aim brings earlier, because this is an aim not on Gemarrah, it's an aim on a Chumash. So it brings earlier that the Yishmael kind of Lasher of Yishmael was. So basically, it's not that he was a tzaddik. He was a tzaddik for this thing he didn't do. He never killed anyone with thirst. So now the question is, still, he was a Lasher. So go to David, and as a compounder thing, he did this and this. He was killing people. He was doing bad stuff. So the Malachim, instead of David said he's not a Lasher in this item of being killing people by thirst. He's not a Lasher. But what about all the other things? He deserves to die. Why didn't the Malachim say now? Okay, he does have other avedas.
1 second, he was a baby when he got the order.
No, he wasn't a baby. No, he was at least 13 years old.
Yeah.
At least 13 years old, even older
How
than
does
that.
his mother carry him on his back?
That's all. I have all those questions.
She's a maidservant,
He
Egyptians.
was a Russia then already? Or,
Yeah, he wanted to kill Yitzchak. He played
Send
him.
him away.
She was able to carry enough water.
It says that Metzachik they were playing and there was Doyas and Znus. There was he wasn't
Trying to kill him with an arrow.
he wasn't a goody. So, but why didn't the Malachim bring up that? Aval kitog menaver she'osid lasses, it only came up with that these offspring is going to do. V'lo yu'atzim el banav achov. So says the B'Shem Shloima, because it's midah connected with midah. Achshav, right now he is thirsty. We're not right now. The judgment is he going to die from this thirst or not? So let's judge him with thirst. Achshav I need him at samo im lamazba v'im lichyos. Should he die or should he live? He took all of Maveras at Thomas. The only thing the Malachim were able to find is the future that his offspring is going to kill. So that's not him. Shemida connected midah. V'nichu Hashad left everything else. Yeah.
Russia says, who will be at peace, who will have this, who will be aggravated, who will have shalom,
Yeah.
That's the future. So we're not being judged by the. But if
You're being
judged what's going to happen, and
No, but you're not being judged. You're not judged for next Tuesday. You're being judged now. Do you deserve in the coming year to have a good year? So you're being judged.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the answer.
Anyway, so that's basically this Gemarrah with Yishmael. So the reason he wasn't a tzaddik, he was not a tzaddik, but he was judged now midah connected midah about this item. Okay, so going back to the Gemarrah. Zag the Gemarrah weiter. V'omer Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Gimel dvar maskirin avodas shel Adam. 3 things remind when a person, passes these 3 events. We look at him again with all his avedis. We look at him if he's worthy of passing through this events. This is besides Rosh Hashana when everyone is judged. Eloin kionotoi, if a person walks under a wall that is tilting over and it's about to fall. So if he walks under such a wall, what does Rashi say? He is walking under the wall because he's sure that I am worthy, that the Rebbi should make sure that nothing's going to happen to me. So the Rebbi says, Abazoi, let's see, are you talking worthy? That's kionotoi. V'iyun tefillah, davening. What's part of davening? We're going to see in a second. And also, if he tells the Rebbi basically that the Rebbi should judge a certain person because he deserves to be judged, and the Rebbi says, if you want me to judge him, who are you? Let me look into you. And how do we know that? The Omar of Ovin, whoever wants a friend to be judged, he's going to be punished first. Sarah told Avram, again with the story with Yishmael, she was upset. She was upset at Avram. So she said, I'm upset at you. Basically, I want a judgment against you. So Sarah died before Avram because she wanted to bring judgment on Avram, so she was judged. Apparently that's what. Here we learn that if you want to bring judgment on your friend, you're going to be judged first. Okay, what is this Iyun Tefillah?
You should have wrote in the text, who you?
That's it. Would have been what's it called? So what's this Iyun Tefillah? So Rashi says, Soy mechal tefillasoi, shetei nishmas. He relies on his davening that because I'm going to miskaven liboy, he's going to really have kavanah. Because of that, the Rebbi is sure going to listen to my tefillah. The Rebbi has to listen to my tefillah because I have kavanah, and that is a problem. Who you? Right? Everybody's going to look at him. Who you? Let's see if you're worthy of that. Tosfos, so the first part of Tosfos disagrees, and it says Iyun Tefillah says Tosfos. Go through it really quick. Amar ben Atam Iyun Tefillah the hacha is not Kavanas Tefillah. It's not that Rashi basically is saying that Iyun Tefillah means relying on your davening. I'm relying on my davening, and therefore I'm going to have kavanah. That is not good. Tosfos says the opposite. You have to have kavanas and tefillah every time you daven. Because you don't have kavanas and tefillah, that's why you're being punished. Because nothing to do with relying on your davening to be listened to, but because I have kavanas and tefillah. That's actually problematic because the test is going to bring many Tanoim that didn't have kavanas and tefillah, and most of us do not have kavanas and tefillah. So I'm saying most. I didn't say you. It's most of us. So, but then it basically means that every time we daven and have kavanah, they're just judging us. So that's what Tosfos changes. Changes. What kind of Iyun Tefillah we're talking about? Kehuda get pasha that says in Gemarrah over there in the Balbasa, the Gimel Dvar Menad Nitzlam and B'chol 3 things a person does not or cannot avoid, and one of them is Iyun Tefillah, which basically means the fact that you're not doing Iyun Tefillah, that's a bad thing. According to Rashi, the fact you are doing Iyun Tefillah, that's the bad thing. According to Tosfos, the fact you're not doing Iyun Tefillah, that's the bad thing. What v'chol chashvi in Tefillah? Kolem ein mechaven liba b'tefillah. He doesn't have kavanas in daven. Kadam Yerushalmi, the Brachas Perek brings down a Benjamin Abchia Rava. Rava min yom lekavanis. Rava never had kavanas at tefillah. Chad zman boy mechavanis. One time he wanted mechavan something, and as soon as he started thinking with kavanas, v'hes belibi, and he started thinking v'amri man ol kamoy malka kadmoy al kafta or yeshgulusa. He basically started to see who has precedence. Does the yeshgulusa, the prince, the golus, the shkoila, let's say, yeah? Does he or shakol, not shakol, and a minister and a different minister by the king? Who gets called in first by the king? That's what he was thinking. Basically, he was having middle of davening. Then the next guy, Shmuel Amar no monis b'chayo. I would start counting either flowers or birds. In middle of davening. This is tzaddikim, these are maroim, these are not simple people. One is the musi, I started counting the rows of the building. I was holding my head, I was thinking, what's going to happen when I come to Moedin and I have to bow down and I'm going to rip my garment because I'm going to bow down. Because a person davens to the Eibush does not have kavanas, the Eibush remembers as of Edis. And that's what it's talking about here. But that is difficult again. So basically, every time we daven and we don't have kavanas, the Eibush thinks about Edis. So that doesn't work out. The knocks it totally down. Klal, you can't think of it like that. El-Ada Maime is talking about, like Rashi says, he works really hard to have kavana, and he's boiteach, he relies on it to tfilas and ishmas. It's like in Brachas Hamayich b'tfilasai, if someone has alichos at tefillah, davens long, but it's not some daven long, ma'ayin. And he's ma'ayin. Why? Because he says, I have to do it because I have to be good with God. I have to whatever, get reward. The Rav Yehuda Adam, three things give you alichas yamim. The choshev hamayich b'tefillah, and one of them is someone davens long. But in this case, it's problematic. El Parich, the Gemarrah asks over there, how can you say that Ma'arich B'Tefillah is a good thing? Abba said, someone that has a lichos at tefillah, ume'ayin bo and has kavanas, so if he has a heart attack or has a heartache. Why? Shenemar techeles memshachad. He's going to say in 2 lines that techeles means davening. Techeles davening b'mshacha, a long davening. Machlalev brings you heartaches, brings you heart disease. And what does the Tez explain? It says in his heart, the Eibusha will definitely do what I prayed for. Because I had an Ion Tefillah, I was davening with Kavana. And therefore, now, the Eibusha didn't listen to him. That he didn't listen to him. Anyways, we're not going to go through this. It's basically the same idea. But the idea is that you davened, you had so much kavanas, but you relied on it. I have so much kavanas, the Eibush definitely has to listen to me. So that's the Ion Tefillah. Okay, back in the Gemarrah, the umore Yitzchak, yeah, that is a shein teikim mit chalasa. In the Gemarrah, if you go into the Gemarrah, the umore Yitzchak dal dva makarim the gazina shel adam. 4 things take away a decree, a signed decree of a person. Elohein tzedakah. Even tzedakah, tzedakah, screaming, shina Hashem, changing your name, shina Maisa, and changing your attitude, your actions. Tzedakah d'chsiv, tzedakah tzatzal mevalis. Clear. If you give tzedakah, the pasuk says it saves you from death. Tzedakah d'chsiv, vayitzaku el Hashem batzalohem. If you scream batzalohem when it kvetches you, when you have an issue, the Eibusha takes us out from our mitzukah, from our issue, from our what's bothering us. Shina Hashem, changing the name changing your wife's name from Solai to Sola. And once you change the name, I will give you a son. Shina Maisa, changing someone's actions, someone's deeds. This is by Yoina, that he saw that they changed their deeds. And it says in pasuk, by Nachem Elakim Alaro Shadiba Lasses Leim, but also the Eibishter calmed down and did not rest, that he did not do what he wanted to do to them. That's 4 things. So tzedakah, tefillah, and shinoi Hashem. Was it tzedakah, tzedakah, shin Hashem, and shin Maisa? Now it says, another person says, another opinion, also changing, moving from place to place. Go away from your homeland, from the father's land, and go to Tzal. And afterwards it says, when you reach a different place, you change your place, now I'm going to make you a great nation. So why didn't the first one, why is he only bringing 4? Why doesn't he say changing location, moving? He says, no, the reason why Avram was benched because he moved to Tzal, not that he moved to any location. The Hanyale, that the Schus of Tzal is one that helped him out. Okay, so Rashi says, what Shina Maisa? Shina Maisa is changing from your bad deeds. Shav mida asoi. Basically, it's not that he's becoming a good person, but at least he's not doing avedas.
Well, we have a Hayabah that says that we had it 2-3 weeks ago. That before you daven, you should think to yourself, the Rebbi should mekabel all your tefillas as if you were mekabel all the kavanas and say the Salyena. I wish that we have such weak machshava.
Okay.
Saying, but again, the tefillah.
No, I understand. So what's it? So basically saying lechoida, but it's not that we are relying on it.
We're not relying on it.
We're not relying. We're not saying that because of that, David has to give me a good day.
And also, it's mashma that Maseches that you're not going to be thinking about the Rebbi the entire time.
Look at this. Gimel dvarim and adam nitzimachim. A person cannot get the sake from these three items. One of them is the tefillah. You cannot go through davening without having machshavas. And it's not about even about me. We're not talking about everyone else, right? It's not about me. But we're talking about we're talking about the boin we're talking about the Rabban, we're talking about these Amoraim, Tanoim, Tzadikim that had the Ruach HaKodesh, that had what's it called? So yeah, it's not shaykh, and therefore we have to rely on Keilu we have all the kavanas. But again, without relying on that, saying that because now I have all the kavanas, the Eibusha has to give me a bench my day. No, we have to daven in order to connect, not to get something back. But anyway, so going back, so there's three things that change. That the four things that change a gzal din, or a fifth thing was changing the place. So the Rashi says, what does it mean changing your mindset, your actions? That you don't do the avedas, but not that you do something good. The Ritva, it's a longer Ritva, but I just cut out the this one piece. It's not pastish. I don't like it. If he doesn't return, he doesn't do his thing. He's like someone that toivels and has a sheretz, what's it called? Something that makes you tummy. If you don't, obviously that nothing helps. Why is it taking away the gzal din? You have to do something additional to take away gzal din. Even things that you're allowed to do, they're not passt nicht. Right? It doesn't fit a chassid. Was geht der chassid? Was tut der chassid? Esst der chassid? Schlaft der chassid? It's not halacha. Yeah. Was a meg? Dominish. Hat steht in Avshai. You even the things that you shouldn't do. Adam Achalagam, basically showing that it's a ganz andere Mensch. This is Chassidus. This is partial pure Chassidus, that to do above and beyond, and that is what is going to take away the Gzal Din. So that was the 12. Just to I guess finish off with the Mashal, which says I'm not going to go through this whole Mashal, but the first paragraph of the Mashal says he basically summarizes the Gemarrah. So there's tzedakah, there's tzayko, davening, and there's changing your name, and shina maisa. So tzedakah, tzayko, shina maisa is tefillah, is tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah. Tshuva is basically changing your ways. Tefillah is screaming tzayka, and tzedakah is tzedakah.
What's the number 4?
Changing your name. So the Mashal basically is going to tell you that based on davening Rosh Hashana, there must be a difference between these three and changing name. So the second paragraph, Ela Gimel Yostan Apayat, the what's it called? No, the poet. Tshuva, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Mavina, Zayagazeh. Tshuva is changing your deeds. Tefillah is the screaming Tzedakah. Aval Shina Hashem Shina Malkim L'Divrei Yeshayim, but changing your name, or according to the other opinion, that changing place also takes away your decree. Lo Yizachan Apayat, and the poet didn't mention it. Shem Gankim Mavina Zayagazeh Kadam Achar. So says the Mashal. We can explain according to the reason the poet, the Python, only mentioned Tshuva, Tefillah, and Tzedakah because those three you need in order to take away an actual sin that you made. But changing a name or changing a deed is changing your luck. There's nothing to do with a sin. Sarah Imeno, she couldn't have kids. We change your name, we change your luck. But the other things, you have to push her to change your sin.
Change your mazel.
Yeah. So, the lav bowl, shanas akzeda, doesn't come to really take away gzeda shebal chet. It doesn't come to take away the decree that came because of a sin. It comes to take away the decree because of a mazel. that a Shina Shem Misah, no Shina Shem Misah, if you learn Shina Shem Misah, V'Shina Mokim Avam, and Asal and Avram, you would say they had Chatoim, they had sins. The Vadlav Mishum Chat Tziva Lashana Shem Misah Mokim Avam. Maybe she didn't tell Sarah to change her name because she had a sin, or Avram because he had a sin. So basically, the Mashal says the reason the poet did not include changing name in the Tefillah by Daven Rosh Hashana is because those three things is to take away from Aveda. Changing a name and changing a place is for a mazel. Okay, so again, so it says that. So the Baal Yafamaya writes the same thing, but then he goes on and says the next paragraph, the Smag, and the next paragraph, and the Ran, he says that no, that doesn't make sense. And basically, that's the good last paragraph. Basically, says no. Shinui Mokoim Shinui Shem is actually to take away your Vedas. How so? So last paragraph of the Mashal. They give a person a new name or a different name, add another name like Sodom. Yachshoiv, the person is going to think, even though by Soda, her mazel, her luck changed because she changed the name. Why was that? Because she had no sins to hold back. Because she didn't have any sins. But I'm a sinner. I'm going to change my name. What is it going to help me? I'm still, the Aveda is still there. I'm going to now say that my name is a different mazel. I still have a sin. Because he's going to think this way, he's going to change his name, and then he's going to think, what did I do? It doesn't even help me. He will do tshuva again. Or if he wants to become a different person, he has to change his deeds. I have to tshuva and change my deeds. So the changing the name and changing the name is actually part of tshuva for an aveda that he did. The same thing also with changing place. Why did I change place? Avram Avinu changed place. He didn't have an aveda, so that's why he had kids afterwards. But I'm a Baal aveda. So therefore, the Mashal says that according to the Rand and the Smag, that yes, it has to do with the Aveda. And therefore, why didn't the Python put it in? I don't know. Maybe because that's a disagreement. He did not put it in because it's a disagreement about that part. But anyways.
It wouldn't flow nicely for the chazan.
Yeah, because he said, yeah.
Once you get through the first three, you don't need the fourth one anymore.
No, but then.
You'll get everything.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Okay, back in the Gemarrah.
No?
It says it, no?
That's no. So, yeah. Says the Gemarrah weiter. We're holding now. Amar Bitzchok. Yeah, we're gonna finish with this. Amar Bitzchok. Chayev Odom lahagli b'nei Abel v'kamet Yontif. This is probably the last shiur before Pesach. Chayev Odom lahagli b'nei Rabbi beregel. A person is supposed to go greet his Rebbe Yontif. Shenema. It says in the pasuk. This was a story with Elisha. Elisha benched this couple that was a childless couple, didn't have any kids, and he asked Gehazi to find out what they need, and basically told him they don't have kids, and he benched him with a kid. And she actually told Elisha, like, don't bench me, like I'm. And then what happened was the kid passed away, very young. He went out in the field and passed away. And then she saddled up a donkey or a horse, and she started traveling to Elisha. And her husband stopped her. Her name was Shanam. His husband stopped her and said, "Where are you going?" Said, "I'm going to Elisha." So she asked her, "Madua atalechas alavayim? Why are you going to the Navi today? LeChodesh v'leShabbos. It's not a Chodesh. It's not Shabbos." From them let me know is Michal de b'Chodesh v'Shabbos iboy lemeza. That means that the Chodesh and Shabbos you have to go. Okay. So what's the question here?
Even a woman has to.
Yeah, it has to go to that Chodesh and Shabbos. But what happened to Yontif? As mentioned, he brings a whole pasuk. We're trying to learn that the Yontif is supposed to go, and he's not learning Yontif. So the Rabbeinu Chananu had a girsa in the Gemara. The Rebbeinu Chananu has a girsa in the Gemara. Where is it over here? Oh, I mean in this Gemara it's right on top. I don't know. The Rebbeinu Chananu Beregel, yeah, it's right on top. Beregel. So what is the Rebbeinu Chananu? Shenema v'yayim le'amadu atalech hasayim le'chodesh v'Shabbos goyim miklal b'chodesh Shabbos chayiv. You have to go to you greet your Rebbe every chodesh and every Shabbos. Ve'akshinan, and the Gemara asks. And in this Gemara they don't have this in a different.
There's a bocher in this shul that Taka says, "Hi Rebbe, good Shabbos Rebbe." Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's yeah. So there's a what's it called? It must be that Bechananel had a different girsa. The aleph goes to, where's the aleph go to? The aleph goes to, okay, and it goes to Maseches Rosh Hashana. Anyways, it had a different girsa. The Gemarrah asked, we're talking about the regel. Upakina, we answer, if your Rebbi is close to you, you have to go greet him every Shabbos and every Chodesh. But if it's further away, you have to go every Yontif. Okay? So that's how we learn, you have to go every Yontif. But it's still not so simple. What exactly happened here? What did she went? Why would she have to go Chodesh Shabbos? So I saw a very interesting Pnei Yeshua, and that's what we're going to finish the Shiur with that. The Pnei Yeshua writes like this. He asks a question. Even according to the Bechananel, that now answers that we have to go Shabbos and Chodesh, but also Yontif. Why isn't the Yitzchak teaching us another thing? That you have to greet your teacher Shabbos and Chodesh. Why is he only talking about Yontif? You say clearly that you have to go greet your Rebbi Shabbos and Chodesh. Says the Bnei Yeshua. You have to go every Chodesh and Shabbos. Question. Because Yitzchak learns from this pasuk, Yitzchak should have brought a different halach. Instead of telling us that you have to go during Yontif, he should tell us you have to go every Chodesh and Shabbos. They have to go every Chodesh. And the same question is on the Kosher and Rambam. The Kosher and Rambam. The Rambam paskins la halacha sheposak Rabbi Yitzchak the dafke beregel, but doesn't mention Rosh Chodesh. Why doesn't the Rambam mention Rosh Chodesh? The Gemarrah says clearly from the pasuk we learn that in addition to Yontif, you also have to go Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh. Why don't you use that as la halacha? V'nir l'yashav. Bnei Yeshua gives a beautiful answer. A woman is not mechuyev with mitzvahs shazman glama, right? Any mitzvahs that are specific, time specific, a woman has not have a chiyuv. Yeah, we have exemptions, matzah and what's it called, but most mitzvahs, lulav, they don't really have a mitzvah, right? Any mitzvah that is connected to a time, to a specific time, they're not mechuyev. Not only that, if they're not mechuyev in mitzvahs minat Torah, the Torah tells us to shake lulav, and women are not mechuyev. So for sure, mitzvahs like greeting a teacher on Chodesh and Shabbos it's not up to the woman. So why did she go? Why did she go to Chodesh? And why did the husband tell Chodesh Shabbos? It says like this. The Belavach Kosh, third line, the middle third line. Belavach Kosh Alishna Deka. It's difficult. The whole story is difficult. The Baal of Shabbos, the husband of Shabbos, Omali Ishtay told his wife, Maduat Alechas. Rabbi Yitzchak should have learned, right? And Yitzchak learned that he go to Chodesh Shabbos. And how can he teach that? Women are part of a mitzvahs esse that are timely. For sure, it's something like this that is not minat Torah. They're also part of. So why did she go? Who told her to go? Why did she have to go to Rebbi? Different, and that's why the girls come Tisha to the Rebbe. Why do older girls come Tisha to the Rebbe? This mitzvah of greeting your teacher is not a timely mitzvah. It's not a timely mitzvah. What is it? It would have been the correct thing to do. Every moment you should go be by your Rebbe. Every moment. So it's not a mitzvah that is timely only Yontif Shabbos. But if you spend your whole day in 770, you're going to start giving clap. We're going to start having fights there. So that's not a good idea. The Pnei is a different reason, because because if you spend the whole day in 770, you're not going to make a panasa. You're not going to have food to eat.
Yeah, those also.
What? Yeah, I understand, but it's not the norm. So because you have to go work during the week, so during the week you don't have to go. Shabbos you don't work. Shabbos you have to go to 770. You have to go to greet you that. Now comes to here Chodesh. What's with the Chodesh? So the Chodesh, it says in it's brought down in Gemarrah, I guess, I think, that the Yom Tov and Shabbos have 4 levels. Shabbos, okay. Yom Kippur is Kodesh Kodashim, Shabbos, Shabbos. But Shabbos in general, you also all the melachas, yeah? Lower than that is Yontif. Yontif, it's just like Shabbos, with two exemptions. You can cook for food that you need, and you can carry outside even without stuff that you need. So that's the difference between Shabbos and Yontif. That's it. The third level is Chol HaMoed. Chol HaMoed, we learned the whole Moed Katan. Chol HaMoed is like an in between. Rosh Chodesh should have been like Chol HaMoed. Rosh Chodesh should have been a Yontif. Yeah, sure. My family was to wash. Every Rosh Chodesh they have to wash. There was the Rosh Chodesh should have been like Chol HaMoed. What happened? Because the Yidden sinned by the Egel, the Eibush took away the Rosh Chodesh. The 12 Shvatim sinned by the Egel. I'm going to take away 12 Rosh Chodesh from you. Obviously, the Shonas we don't. But there were 12 Shvatim without the Levim. We didn't count the Levim. Menashe and Ephraim. So basically, the Eibush took away the Rosh Chodesh that it's not Yontif. Now the woman didn't sin by the Egel. And Taka Alocha, and it's the minhag Taka that a woman do less. They don't do laundry. There's certain things they don't do Rosh Chodesh. I mean, little kids, it's also laundry today is a pressing of a button. It's not like the olden days where you have to scrub. But the Rosh Chodesh, they're women that have been minhagim not to work because by them it's a mamash more like Yontif. So therefore, it says like this: if she doesn't work Yontif and greeting a Rebbi is not a mitzvah mangalama, it's a mitzvah it's every moment. So a woman has to go to Chodesh. The husband has to go work, but the woman has to go to Chodesh. So therefore, she went to Chodesh. Okay, yeah. You have to go work. You shouldn't have a poor person. You have to go to work. And what do we learn from here? If you lose something and your Rebbe loses something, yours is first because you have to not become poor. It's known in Poskim that the women do not make any melach in Chodesh. Comes out. Also Shapir the Benoshim Hishva Chodesh Shabbos Moed by woman, Chodesh Shabbos and Chol HaMoed is the same thing. The Chodesh Nami Kamoed, Mashenken Anoshim Tuam Chodesh Mishum Bitul Nochem. Men have to go to work, and therefore she went to the Navi during the Chodesh because she had a chiv to go to the Navi. And basically, that's what it's saying. That's what basically saying. The Gemarrah is bringing Rosh Chodesh because of which she had to go to Chodesh. That's why he asked her Rosh Chodesh. Now we can't really say that this applies to everyone because of the husband it doesn't apply. So for the husband it only applies on Yontif when he doesn't work for Shabbos and Yontif, but Rosh Chodesh only applies to the woman. And therefore, every person has to go greet his Rebbe on Yontif.
He said Shabbos also.
Shabbos, yeah.
No, he said
Huh?
He said